Hey Wizard Kings, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Today I'm showing you a faction build in Age of Wonders 4 that fits my kind of playstyle. I tend to enjoy quick, aggressive builds that doesn't require much setup to be powerful. It focuses on using two kinds of units, shock and battle mages. Your battle mages will damage and debuff enemies while giving your shock units regeneration. Your shock units will deal high single strike damage, apply many dots, and have many different ways to stay alive in longer battles. You'll be strong right from the beginning, allowing you to be aggressive and expand quickly. This build is called Ravenous Vanguard. We start off with the body and mind traits of Quick Reflexes and Tenacious. We take Quick Reflexes to cause our opponents to get closer to us to deal ranged damage, which is perfect because it requires our shock units to cover less ground then. Tenacious allows our units to deal more damage when damaged. The goal is to deal maximum damage at all times, and you'll see with our future traits, we'll still find ways to heal ourselves, as no one likes to fight battles when not at full battle strength. We use the Dark Culture primarily for the Tier 1 shock unit and the Battle Mages that allows you to debuff enemies. The Dark Culture is the only culture that gets both racial Tier 1 and 3 shock units, which will allow you to keep the same shock Battle Mage army composition till end game without using tome units. The other reason we select the Dark Culture is when enemies are debuffed with Weaken, it'll give the unit that attacks it health regeneration. You'll have Dark Tome spells that can do this, or the Battle Mage's 2 spells can do this. I especially like the Battle Mage cooldown spell, Sundering Curse, that has a nice far range and does decent single target damage. The two society traits are Ritual Cannibalism and Mana Addicts. We select Cannibalism as it is one additional way that will allow our units to heal during combat and not cost an action point to do so. So take damage, kill units, eat them first, then move on to the next target, rinse and repeat. As a side bonus to Ritual Cannibalism, when you kill units, you'll earn food and mana depending on the tier. Mana Addicts is a special, unlockable society trait that'll give all your units lifesteal if you cast a combat spell that turn. If you don't cast a combat spell though, it'll cause them all to lose 5 morale. If you're wondering, you don't lose morale on your first turn of combat where you normally can't cast spells, so you don't have to worry about that. Remember to activate this trait with actual combat spells. Spells cast by units or heroes will not count. At this point, you'll have 3 ways to heal yourself, and if you can find a future feudal culture hero, you can make them a Lord of War that'll heal your army 5 hit points at the end of each successful battle, giving you 1 additional way to heal yourself. The starting tome I've selected is the Tome of Pyromancy, which will give you access to Ignite. A cheap, single-target combat spell that does direct damage, will apply a dot, and will fuel your mana-addicted army. It's great because it'll set the ground on fire, possibly causing some armies to move out of favorable position. I like the Flame Enchantment, which will give your shock troops and hero the ability to deal fire damage, but also deal 20% more damage to enemies that are already burning. Finally, I select this tome for the Pyromancer unit that will join your Battle Mage ranks that can apply fire all over the battlefield. The leader is a Wizard King for the additional mana income, which is needed to cast spells every turn for our Mana Addicts. Equipped with a shock weapon, he'll support your other shock units, and will hopefully get some good weapon upgrades down the road. In the future, these are the tomes I'd select. For Tier 1, after you complete the Tome of Pyromancy, I'll select the Tome of Evocation that'll give you a Battle Mage buff, another combat spell, and give you ways to apply another dot to enemies for melee. In Tier 2, I select the Tome of Artificing and the Tome of the Doom Herald. Artificing gives your melee units a crit chance buff and gives the Bolt Repeater siege project that fires 3 AoEs across the map every 2 turns. The Tome of the Doom Herald will cause enemies to lose morale quicker and deal 30% more damage to them when at low morale. In Tier 3, I like to select the Tomes of Devastation and Dragons. Devastation gives a great enchantment for your shock units, dealing AoE damage when they get kills, and give even more crit. If you want a different kind of shock unit, you'll have one, and it'll give you another siege project. I like the Tome of Dragons because it gives a good Battlemage buff, and the transformation is great for your shock units too. With all this laid out, let's look at how I initiate combat. Usually in the first round, I'll figure out which shock unit will be the furthest back and use them to form the line. Then I'll put the hero unit adjacent and the third unit next to him. This will be our melee line. I'll then put my 3 battle mages behind them. Usually enemies will get close, but not close enough, which will normally cause our battle mages to get 1 shot off their consecutive attack. We don't need to worry though, we use their debuff attack that will normally always reach them, debuffing them. Don't forget to also cast a combat spell to prevent our units from losing morale. We charge and attack at that point. Don't forget, when you defeat enemies, use your cannibalize action first, healing your unit, then attack. So that is my Shock Battlemage Dark Faction build. Let me know what you would do to make it better. Check out the rest of my channel for other guides on Age of Wonders 4, video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.